Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. And tomorrow afternoon, Chelsea head down to the South Coast to take on Bournemouth, looking for a first win under Frank Lampard as caretaker manager, hoping to avoid those 007 memes. Right now, it's 6 games, 6 defeats for Lampard. We don't want to be becoming James Bond there with a 007. So Lampard and the boys have really got to pull something out the bag. It's going to be a really tough game, because Bournemouth are a decent side. We're on the same amount of points as them. They're on their 13th. We're 12th. We played a game less than them, but they've won more games than us. We're on the same amount of points. We're both on 39 points. Still, we're in May, and Chelsea haven't got to 40 points yet. Absolute madness. But there's so much to get into. So look ahead to the Bournemouth game. We've had the Matt Law article that dropped earlier in terms of transfer targets. Chelsea very keen on Inter's Andre Onana in goal. Edouard Mendy looks like he's likely to leave the club. 2 or 3 key additions in the summer. There is plenty to get into, guys. So make sure you smash the likes on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and get involved in the chat tonight as well, guys. Let's make it nice and active. I'm flying solo tonight, so yeah, a nice active chat would be a big plus. Yeah, guys, get involved in the chat. But let's get straight into it, people. Let's get straight into it. Chelsea's pursuit of a new goalkeeper. Now, obviously, I think it's clear for some time now that Chelsea have needed a new goalkeeper, needed a better goalkeeper than we've currently got. Obviously, Inter Milan's Andre Onana is an interesting one. I think it's a tough one. I don't know. Is he better than what we've got? I would probably say yes, in terms of from his Ajax days. When he was with Ajax and that runs the Champions League semi-finals, phenomenal, great goalkeeper, did really well there. A lot of teams were interested. And he went to Inter Milan on a free transfer. Obviously, he served a ban as well for testing positive for a banned substance. I think he put it down to taking one of his wife's weight loss pills or something along those lines, but he had to serve a ban. He's done pretty well for Inter this season. Obviously, Champions League semi-finalists, 4th place in Serie A. I've not watched an awful lot of him, but he's a decent keeper. My only issue is this kind of the significant upgrade that we're looking for in the goalkeeping department? I'm not sure it is. I'm not dead against it, but I just look at it and I think if we're going to sign a goalkeeper, are we signing Onana as a bit of a stopgap for a few years until maybe Slonina develops a little bit more, or maybe the goalkeeper market for the top keepers becomes a bit clearer or slightly better? Because right now you're looking at the goalkeeper market and you're looking for a number one keeper, a significant upgrade on what we've got. You're shopping from a very small list. There's not many of them out there. You're looking at likes of Jan Oblak at Atletico Madrid, virtually impossible to get him out, I would say. Looking at Ter Stegen at Barcelona could be a little bit easier. There's not that many top goalkeepers around. We're not getting Edison or an Alisson or anyone like that. Mike Maignan would be the one. Would be my guy. Magic Mike would be the one from AC Milan. The French internationals had a fantastic season. Superb goalkeeper. It's just a bit of the goalkeeper market is not it's not the best right now. And I guess if we're looking at goalkeepers, then I don't think Onana's terrible. I really don't. I think he's good. I would maybe question his attitude at times. Obviously sent home from the World Cup with Cameroon for some disciplinary issues. And hopefully that wouldn't happen at Chelsea. But obviously he's kind of got that in him. I'm just unsure on this one because I don't know if he makes us significantly better in goal. And him, the likes of David Raya at Brentford that we've been linked with as well. Are these guys really moving the needle in the goalkeeping position? That's the big question. But if the data's suggesting or the data-led approach is suggesting that Onana's good, then I think we do need to move away from, perhaps myself included, just looking at people who aren't necessarily a huge name and thinking, oh, they're not that good. I think Chelsea over the years have always gone for big names, and the vast majority of those signings have never worked out. So maybe it's time that we went for slightly lesser names and we might have a bit more success. Onana's not terrible, but is he much better than Mendy? Is he much better than Kepa? Probably overall slightly better, but I'm not sure if it's a significant upgrade that that we are looking for. I mean, guys, what are your thoughts in the chat? Let's get to a few things. Assad, big up, my guy. Thanks for tuning in. Another died. I don't know. It's tough. It depends what version of Onana we get. Yes, big up. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much for tuning in from Ethiopia. Massively appreciate that. That's mad to think that people are tuning in from all around the world to watch me chat about the Chelsea, but I massively appreciate it. Hope Lampard picks players who want to be at the club tomorrow. Yeah, that would be nice. But at the moment, whatever Lampard does in this caretaker role has been an absolute shambles. Not many goalkeepers who are better than Mendy. I think there are. I think the thing with Mendy is, for me, is that he was a good goalkeeper, but massively outperformed his ability. And now we're kind of seeing the level that he is at. He's not been able to hit those heights that he did when we won Champions League, won Club World Cup, reaching those 2 domestic cup finals as well. Like, he's not been able to reach those heights again. He massively outperformed himself. He's a good goalkeeper, but just as his rise was incredible and rapid, his downfall has been just as spectacular as well for all the wrong reasons. I don't think we see Mendy play for Chelsea again. The club want to sell him, can't agree a new contract, and I just think it's one of those that ultimately came in for a short period of time, and it's not really worked. You can't say it's not worked out, because he did very well, but it's not gone as we all thought it might have gone. Dead in the water, big up. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Yeah, I definitely presume that's not a 3-1 to us. That is a definite 3-1 Bournemouth. The Georgian keeper, can't remember his name. Valencia are bang in trouble. Could get relegated from La Liga, and they'd have to sell a lot of players. The Valencia goalkeeper, the Georgian keeper, I can't remember his name now. He's supposed to be decent. I think the club, as you say, because they have looked at him, but I don't know an awful lot about him at all. Not better than what we've got. No, not significantly better in my opinion. It's weird because Chelsea over the years has been really blessed in the goalkeeping department in terms of, we've had the likes of Kudachini and Cech. We then had Cech and Courtois. We've done really well. Then we had Mendy kind of come onto the scene as well. But now we're kind of in a situation where we've got 2 good goalkeepers, but neither of them are standout or kind of from the top draw. So it's going to be really interesting to see what we do in that goalkeeping situation. One of the goalkeepers is definitely leaving. There's no chance that I'd be shocked if both keepers left. I think it's pretty clear that Mendy will leave. I mean, in an ideal situation, it'd probably be better if Kepa left in terms of his wages and whatnot. And would he get a better fee? It's hard to tell. Problem is with these contracts, so we signed Kepa under the old regime. It was a long contract as well. I think it was about 7 years or something. And I'm not sure what he's on. It's over 100 grand a week. I don't know how much the exact amount is now. I can't really remember. But yeah, I don't know if it'd be tough to get rid of him. He was very close to joining Napoli or Lazio on loan before this season started, but it's kind of turned around for him. And Kepa has had a fantastic season on a personal level from him. He's really played his best football of his Chelsea career. But ultimately, he's just not quite good enough for the top level that we need for a goalkeeper that's going to win a Premier League. And he just isn't that guy. Over the course of a season, unfortunately, he's going to cost you more points than he's going to save you. And I hate to say it, it is exactly the same with Edouard Mendy as well. But I mean, in terms of the guys that are on that goalkeeping shortlist, there's not many. I mean, I think it's Onana and obviously what's his name, David Raya at Brentford. There's a few of them, a couple there. Maybe the Georgian goalkeeper at Valencia as well. There's not an awful lot. It's a tricky market, but as I said before, I think it could be smart for us to not go for the big names and just spend less on a goalkeeper this time round, so we can so we've got more money to spend on a defensive midfield player and a striker. Because if we're being honest, out of a goalkeeper, a defensive midfield player, and a striker, you probably say that the goalkeeper is, while still important, is probably at the bottom of that list of priorities. You'd probably say holding midfield player, striker, then goalkeeper in order of importance. Yes, we want to address all those areas, but at the same time, the goalkeeper is probably the least important. So if you can get a goalkeeper slightly cheaper, and then you've got more money to spend in those other key positions, then that's that to me makes more sense. That really does. Kepa £7.8 per year. Do you mean million? 7 to 8 million a year through. So Kepa's not got long left on the contract. Get Ben Foster. Yeah, I think Ben Foster would probably rather stay at Wrexham. It's probably more enjoyable, in fairness, than it would be being at Chelsea right now. I don't know if that's tongue in cheek, a little bit of a joke, or a serious comment or not. But yeah, what would you say about Jan Oblak? Yeah, Jan Oblak, top goalkeeper, phenomenal. But again, it'd be impossible to get him out of Atletico Madrid. You know, we're not going to do business with Atletico Madrid twice. You know, if we want to keep Felix this summer, there's no way they're going to sanction a sale of Oblak and Felix, particularly both to the same club. So yes, Oblak's a great goalkeeper, and I would definitely take him. I'd say the chances on that are virtually nil. Contract on Kepa makes him unsellable. No, he's not unsellable. I just think it's going to be difficult to find someone to take him on the wages that he's on. I think he probably would have to take. A pay cut if we're being realistic about the situation on that one. 3-0 Chelsea. I mean, that's very optimistic. I cannot see that happening. I mean, I'm more than happy to be wrong tomorrow afternoon, but there's just no way I can see Chelsea winning 3-0. The only 3-0 scoreline we're going to be involved with is a 3-0 loss at this point in time. Mo, big up. We are finished. Bowley and Egbali messed up the wage bill. Sterling 350, Koulibaly. I don't know. I know Sterling's wages are high. I don't know what Koulibaly's are. I'm not sure if they're in the 300k, and I'm pretty sure Cucurella's is not 200. So I'm not sure on those numbers, but yeah, I mean, it seems strange that in the summer they were quite happy to dish out seemingly bigger wages, but then come January they were doing kind of lesser wages, more performance incentives to get there to increase your money. Obviously, the guys that signed in January, their wages have dropped slightly because we've missed out on the Champions League football. I really like that as a business model. I think it's the right way to go. So it incentivizes players to perform and get back in the Champions League so they can earn more money rather than just being on a fat contract, regardless of what football we're playing. And the motivation isn't really there. So I think that's good from that perspective. But just to wrap up this little goalkeeper segment, I think whilst Onana's not overly exciting, it could be a smart signing for a few years until the goalkeeper market becomes a bit better, a bit easier, not as dry. Because as I said, there's very few to shop from. So I think one of Kepa or Mendy's definitely leaving. I think it's pretty much going to be Mendy. And it looks like, I guess the goalkeepers could be Onana and Kepa next season. But does Kepa want to be a number 2 again, having played virtually all of this season? That's the big question. Maybe Kepa goes out on loan and we have Selena as a 2. I'm not really sure what the situation is, but it's clear Chelsea want a goalkeeper. I don't know if it's going to be the world-class goalkeeper we're looking for, but I think Onana would be a sound signing. It's not the most exciting. I don't think he's a significant upgrade. Probably overall he would be an upgrade on what we've got and in their current form. But yeah, as you say, Mike Maignan would be my choice. But again, I just don't know if we've got the money to spend on him and still strengthen the other areas, as I touched on, which are probably more important. Let's move to that centre forward market then, because also in that same Matt Law article, it was saying that Chelsea are one of the clubs that are monitoring Rasmus Højlund, the what's his name, the Atalanta forward, the young Danish guy. Let me just bring that up on the screen now. Again, as I was saying with the goalkeeper market, the striker market is it's quite dry as well. It's pretty sparse. There's not an awful lot on there in terms of who we can and can't go for in that market. You're looking at Victor Osimhen, who the Napoli president De Laurentiis saying absolutely not for sale. Again, make of that what you will. It's going to take an offer of well over 100 million euros to prize him out. So it's going to be a tough one. But yeah, Chelsea are supposedly amongst the clubs monitoring Atalanta striker Rasmus Højlund, the 20-year-old who has had a very good season at Atalanta. He's doing well for the Danish national side as well. Got a hat-trick, I think, against Kazakhstan not too long ago. I think they actually went on to lose that game, but that's not really the point. He's definitely an exciting young forward. But again, this is another guy who is not the finished article, another young forward. Is that the way we go? Right, what are we looking for in a 9? This is where we've got to be really careful. Are we looking for a big name number 9, or are we looking for a 9 that is kind of up and coming, has got years to develop, and is someone that the new manager can mold rather than being a finished product? I think ideally we'd love to have a finished product, but there's not many of those around. I mean, for me, Ivan Toney would be the perfect signing. I know we're not going to sign 2 forwards, but Ivan Toney would be my number 1 choice. I've said many times, guys that tune in regularly will know that I'm a big fan of Toney. Only Kane and what's his name? Only Kane and Haaland have scored more goals than him in the Premier League this season. I think teams would have made a move for him if that ban wasn't hanging over him. We really need to find out what's going on with the ban before we can kind of proceed any further with this striking situation. But yeah, I don't know. It is an interesting one because you've got Osimhen, Toney, Kane is also one we get linked with now, perhaps more so now because with Pochettino poised to take over. Does that increase our chances of getting Harry Kane to come? I still think that's virtually almost impossible in terms of Kane coming to Chelsea, and B, Tottenham and Daniel Levy sanctioning a sale of their star man to a direct London rival. I just can't see that happening, but you never know. But the striker market is going to be interesting. Do we? I mean, dare I say it? Do we go with it reintegrating Lukaku into the team for a season, see how that goes on, and then if it doesn't really work out, sell him the following summer and look to bring someone else in then, where there could be better options available on the striker market? I think with Lukaku, it's interesting because, again, it depends what reports you believe. He's not played an awful lot of football this season. He's been out with injuries, struggled with his fitness and whatnot. But in the last few weeks, he's been playing regular football, and he has been doing better. He's been scoring goals. He's been getting assists, and he's looking like sort of the player that Inter had last season for the vast majority of it. For me, the Lukaku thing is twofold. The most important, he does solve a massive issue that we've got. He is a goal scorer. Now, even from the short time ago that he was at Chelsea, a lot of things are totally different. A, new ownership. B, it's going to be a new manager. And C, it's virtually a completely different squad to what he came into when we signed him from Inter Milan. So I think the main thing for me is that Lukaku has to want to make it work and has to want to try and make a success of his Chelsea career. That first and foremost. And then secondly as well, Pochettino has got to actually want to work with him and want to use him, because is Lukaku a Pochettino type of forwards? You look at Harry Kane. Lukaku's not like Kane. He doesn't press. He doesn't really drop deep. He doesn't tend to get involved in too much link-up play. He's more of a kind of a penalty box striker, as it were. Yes, he can link play. Yes, he can get assists, but he's more of a finisher rather than a rounded forward. If Lukaku wants to make a success of his Chelsea career and he wants to try again, then I'm for it. I think with the likes of Mudryk, Madueke, etc. around him, then that could be a lot better for him. With Enzo Fernandez putting in balls over the top from midfield, he's not really had that level of creativity in the middle of the park. So I think it could work. I think it could work potentially, but again, it all boils down to whether Lukaku wants to make a success of his Chelsea career. If he doesn't, then this is a non-starter and we have to try and get rid of him. Whether that's on another loan with an obligation to buy to Inter, whether we just sell him for a cut price and just completely forget the whole thing ever happened, a decision needs to be made one way or another. But I do expect him to be here in pre-season. I do expect him maybe to play some part in the pre-season as well. Kane will only have 1 year left on his contract in the summer. Yeah, I think that is definitely true. So that'll be interesting to see what he does. I mean, Spurs will obviously be dead keen to offer him a new contract, but whether he wants to accept it or not, I don't know. But, you'd have to question Kane's ambition here. Does he want to win trophies, or is the thought of winning trophies with Tottenham more appealing to him than winning them elsewhere? I mean, does he really believe he can win trophies at Tottenham? I'm not so sure. Will he wait to see who the next manager is there as well? There's a lot of things to factor into Harry Kane's future. So let's kind of wait and see what happens on that one. But the striker market's quite dry. Osimhen, I think Chelsea will obviously interested and perhaps will put an offer in or sound Napoli out and see what the lie of the land is there. But again, ultimately for me, I think we need to move away from spending big money on strikers and maybe try a different approach. Maybe going for slightly lesser names, maybe going for guys that are perhaps the next rung down from the world class level. Well, not from the world class level, but from like kind of the top bracket. And maybe we go from ones just down. Maybe guys that are going to fit the team better. That's why I think an Ivan Toney would just be perfect for Chelsea. Good hold-up play, left foot, right foot, headers, penalties. He's good at everything. I think he ticks all the boxes. And as much as I love Victor Osimhen, I think he's a phenomenal footballer. I actually think for Chelsea, Ivan Toney would actually be of more use than Victor Osimhen would be, just because of our record we've had with big money centre forwards over the years, and kind of Osimhen's profile, I think, could maybe suit us better. You know, more of a big man centre forward with two direct wingers either side, and Mudryk and Madueke. I think that's got potential to pop off for sure. They want to lower the wage bill, but bring Lukaku. Yeah, Lukaku. I don't know what Lukaku's is. Obviously around 300k or whatever it is. It's always difficult when you put these guys on the big contracts and it doesn't work out. Because then, as we know all too well, it's really tough to get rid of them yet. Or you think Højlund's not ready yet? See him as the same level as... Oh, I think Rasmus Højlund is a bit better than Broja. I think he's done... I know Broja's been injured for large parts of this season, but Højlund's doing it at a better level than Broja is, I would say, right now. He's definitely further along in his development. I know they're roughly the same age, but yeah, for me, Højlund, I think right now is better than Broja. Yeah, I did see these comments. Again, you know, you take what these guys say with a bit of a pinch of salt, because you know, you can't, I'm not saying you can't trust them, but, you know, they'll say one thing, but at the end of the day, money talks. If an offer comes in and the player wants to leave, then there's very little you can do about it as an owner. Get Ivan Toney. Yeah, that would be my dream. I would absolutely love that. Right, guys, let's keep smashing these likes up, by the way. We're only on 10 likes. We can do much better than that. Let's get this on the road. Let's get it up to 20 likes, people. So keep smashing the like button. It massively helps me out. It takes you seconds. If you tuned in now and you've not smashed the like, make sure you do, guys. Let's get this stream up to 20 likes. Okay, let's get it done, people. And subscribe to the channel whilst you're at it as well. But yeah, let's get those likes up, guys. We'd massively appreciate it. And it helps me out more than you could imagine. So yeah, the transfer stuff is interesting. I think it's a good approach. You know, Chelsea are looking to make kind of 2 to 3 key additions in the summer, and you know, I think the January spending was the bulk of the squad rebuild. It really was. So that's a good one there in terms of that. So again, the same article, Chelsea are only planning to make 2 or 3 key additions this summer. Planning moves for a goalkeeper, striker, and possibly a midfielder. I hope that possibly becomes a reality, because we have to get a midfielder. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I think it's smart and it makes sense. Now that we've done the bulk of our squad rebuild in January, adding 2 or 3 key positions per window, that is the way forward. It's smart and it shows you that there is a plan. And these are the 3 areas that Chelsea fans have been banging on about for so long, time and time again. You know, we need a goalkeeper, we need a defensive midfield player, and we need a number 9. Defensive midfielder, for me, most important position for us to address, because no good team no team that's successful, wins the league, wins whatever it is, doesn't have a world-class number 6. We have got to find ourselves a world-class number 6, whether that's Declan Rice, whether that's Moises Caicedo, whether that's Romeo Lavia. Again, I wouldn't say Lavia is world-class. I think Caicedo is really better than him. It's going to be tough to get Caicedo. Ugarte, again, as well, is a good one at Sporting Lisbon. I mean, if it was my choice, and people might say, oh, it's English bias, it's not. Declan Rice is that guy. Him or Caicedo, or if we could get both, that would be unreal. Rice, for me, is ticks so many boxes. You know, he's a phenomenal footballer. He really is. It really surprises me why people still think, oh, you know, why would Chelsea want Declan Rice? Why would you not want Declan Rice? You know, he ticks so many boxes. Box to box, can play in midfield free, could play in a pivot alongside Enzo Fernandez. I think the two of them would complement each other perfectly. And it's important that we get the right blend of youth and experience in that midfield, because yes, your likes of your Manu Kones at Mönchengladbach, the likes of your Romeo Lavias, etc. Really exciting young players, but would you worry about having a 22-year-old Enzo Fernandez and a 19-year-old Romeo Lavia in as your midfield too next season? You do need a little bit of experience to complement it. Yes, Kante will probably still be around at the club. Caicedo would be my choice. I've watched Caicedo play twice live this season, Brighton home and away. Phenomenal in both games, particularly the game at Stamford Bridge a few weeks ago. And I watched him again in the FA Cup semi-final against United. Fantastic again. He's the real deal. Him or Rice, either way, I wouldn't be too fussed. I'd probably just give it to Rice. But I mean, if we could get Moises Caicedo, it would be outrageous. But yeah, I think this is looking now like people are saying, oh, there's no strategy, there's no this, there's no that. I think there are hallmarks there are signs of a strategy taking place. I think, yes, ideally you wouldn't do the bulk of your squad rebuild in January, but ultimately you've got to do it somewhere and somehow. So we've got that out the way early doors, brought all these players in. Now we just got to get rid of a lot of players and bring in 2 or 3 key positions, and you can keep working on those positions as each window, adding 1 or 2 key players. And that is exactly what we've got to be looking at doing. And it looks like that is what we are going to be doing. Let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. By the way, guys, keep smashing those likes. We need to get out to 20 people. Let's get those likes to 20. Would massively appreciate it. So let's get it done, people. We're doing a great job so far, but let's get it up there. Rice will provide performances on the pitch and leadership of the pitch. Yeah, I think another important aspect that we need to address as well is not just the profile of player we're signing, not just the quality, but in terms of leadership as well. What leadership characteristics have they got? And I think Rice ticks a lot of those boxes. He's captain at West Ham, leader on and off the pitch. And it would be another great character to have in the dressing room. And if reports are to be believed, Mauricio Pochettino wants to build a core of kind of players that have been in and around the academy, etc., similar to what he had when he was at Tottenham. I think Declan Rice could be a massive part of that. Only 1 year left on his contract come the end of this season, so West Ham won't be able to get as much money as they would have got for him the summer before. But let's wait and see what happens in that midfield. It will certainly be an interesting one to say that. We've also got Sangare, similar to Partey. Sangare was one we looked at in the summer. Ultimately, I don't think he was quite good enough. He signed a 5-year contract extension, a new 5-year contract at PSV Eindhoven. So yeah, I think it was one that was interesting, but ultimately I think there are better options out there, and we can probably do slightly better than that. Yeah, I mean, that would be a madness. It'll be interesting to see what does happen with Andre Santos next season. Does he come back? Does he go straight into the fold? Or would it be more beneficial for him to have a loan to one of Europe's top 5 leagues? I personally am leaning slightly more towards the latter. I think, yes, by all means have pre-season here, play a few games. But I think in terms of his development, again, it depends who leaves. It depends who comes in. Are we going to be best served sending this guy out on loan to a top 5 European league to play week in, week out and get some more exposure to football at the highest level? Remember, Santos has never played outside of the Brazilian top flight. So it would be a big ask to expect him just to come straight into Chelsea and play minutes and make an instant impact. So I don't really know on that one. Personally, I'd lean towards sending him out on loan to a top 5 league, but again, it depends who comes in, it depends who goes, it depends what the manager thinks and what they want to do with him. But there's definitely a lot of talent there, and a Caicedo, Enzo and Santos midfield would be a madness. But yeah, obviously we're coming to the end of the season. We're coming to that time where transfer sagas are heating up, and it's exciting times again. You can't not get excited by transfers. I know I probably love them a lot more than some people do, but it's always exciting when you're linked with players. New players are coming into the club. You're addressing positions that you've not addressed for years. That you get a bit of a buzz around it all. Yes, big up Zula Luar. I think I've absolutely butchered that pronunciation of the second name. Apologies, but yeah, Zula, big up. Thanks for tuning in. Felix, Havertz, and Kunku, same positions. Who leaves? I don't know, because I was having this conversation, I think on a previous stream on the channel, where I just don't see how Felix, Havertz, and Nkunku can all coexist within the same squad. Their best position is all that second striker, that number 10 role. So, you know, I don't really know what we do there. For me personally, I think Felix is great. He's not done. He's kind of tailed off a little bit. The end product's not been there. He's not played in the last few games. He's not been starting. Felix would be a luxury signing. Now, if we address a goalkeeper, a centre forward, and a holding midfield player, then great. You know, no problem. Let's have a look at maybe bringing him in on another loan deal and kind of see what happens from there. But he absolutely shouldn't be a priority signing. And I don't know. I'm leaning more towards actually maybe we don't need to keep him. Maybe we can do. Maybe we can get by with what we've got. You know, Nkunku's coming in, so that's kind of the Felix replacement, as it were. So we're not really losing out in that position. I'm not really sure. It's a tough one, but it's 100% should not be a priority signing. Absolutely not. Should only be done if there's money left over to do it, and we've addressed a goalkeeper, a centre forward, and a holding midfield player. Only then should we be looking at that. No midfielder in the Premier League has made more tackles than Rice this season. Interesting. I expect a draw tomorrow. Yeah, mate, I was got to the point now where we've taken so many L's that I would actually just take not losing a match. That would be absolutely ideal. It really would be. It's okay. That's not my name anyway. Oh, fair. All good then. We have Nkunku for that number 10 spot. Yeah, again, it depends on what Pochettino wants. Like, obviously, we presume the new manager's going to be Poch. If Pochettino wants him, then we are in a position where we have to back the manager and give him what he wants. If Poch says that he wants Felix, then whether we like it or not, we've got to give the man. We've got to do what the manager wants. Okay, so if he wants Felix, let's try and negotiate a loan deal with an option or an obligation to buy at the end of the second year or something along those lines. But yeah, let's throw this forward then, people, more towards the game itself. Actually, no, there was one thing I wanted to do. Just a little update on the managerial situation. It's all gone pretty quiet recently, perhaps scarily quiet, you could say. There's not an awful lot of updates, but according to that same Matt Law article, an offer has been made to Mauricio Pochettino, and Chelsea remain optimistic that the details of the deal will be agreed. Pochettino is excited by the challenge. Now, I'm not really sure what details could possibly still be left to agree. Again, I know football contracts there's a lot to them, like, you know, things that you would never even think of. Everything goes down to the sort of the nth degree of detail and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, surely this is close now. I mean, it has to be. I don't know. Are we waiting till we're mathematically safe? Are we waiting till we win a game and then we'll announce it so we can have kind of two bits of good news at once? I'm not really too sure. But I mean, they've had multiple meetings. They were supposed to be meeting out in Los Angeles, and then from like a few days ago, or more towards the start of the week. And then we've not really heard anything since then. I know that Pochettino was negotiating kind of the finer details, as in the length of the contract, etc., himself, rather than through any agencies. Informed his staff, you know, of the situation and what might be happening. So I don't know if this is just done and they're just waiting for a good time to announce it. I mean, when is a good time to announce it? We just need it announced, and we need him in the stands watching these games. Or is this a recent update, Ashraf? Is it a recent update? Let me have a little look. But the Poch thing is strange that, you know, there's not really been many updates since then, which is odd. Let's see what happens with this one. But again, you would have thought this would have been announced by now. I don't really know. I don't know what the hold up is. Again, I think, you know, being worried about Poch not accepting. I think we're still a bit of a way from that. I don't think we need to be too concerned that Poch is not going to pick us. But at the same time, the longer this drags on, the longer it's not done, I guess, the more worry that could creep in. I mean, is he waiting for us to? I mean, look, mathematically we can still go down, but it's like the situation is virtually impossible for us to go down. Not because we're going to get the points, but because the other teams simply aren't going to get the required points to overhaul us. But it is, I don't know. I don't know why it's gone so quiet. I don't know what they could possibly be doing. I'm not really sure. I don't really know what's happened. I really don't know what's happened here. I don't know. It's an interesting one because it's picking up quite a lot of steam. Everything was progressing along really nicely, and then suddenly you're just like, well, hang on a second. Everything's gone a little bit quiet. I mean, there's not going to be updates on a daily basis. Of course, there's not. But you go in a few days without an update. There must be a contract offer on the table. I mean, I don't know what they could possibly still be talking about, what they could possibly still want to know from Poch, what Poch still wants to know from us. You would have thought all these things would have been agreed in principle and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully this isn't too far away. Maybe if we win on Saturday, maybe if we win tomorrow, and a big if we were to win tomorrow, maybe we then get kind of a Poch announcement. Are the club waiting for us to win? Are the club waiting for a better moment to announce it? Are they waiting for us to be mathematically safe? I mean, who knows what's going on here? But I still think this is very much in hand. Pochettino will be the next Chelsea manager. But at the same time, as I said, the longer it goes on, the more you worry that, well, hang on, what's kind of the hold up here? The closer we get to the summer, other jobs could become available. If Real Madrid were to say, look, Carlo, we're going to sack Carlo, or Carlo's going to go and take over at Brazil. We really want you to be the next Real Madrid manager. Could Pochettino really say no to Real Madrid? I'm not so sure he could. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic in that situation. What have we got here? Announcement of Poch would have given some positivity. Look, I don't want to be too much sort of too conspiracy theory on it and whatnot. But I don't think anything fishy is going on. I just think due diligence is being done, and these things just take a bit longer than we think. And I think after the sort of the rushed appointment of Graham Potter last time round, they're erring on the side of caution and just probably taking longer than they actually need to take. I haven't looked at the whole Sterling interview. I know Silva did after one of the games at Stamford Bridge. I think it might have been a Dortmund game, maybe, or I could have even been after Real Madrid. I actually can't remember when, but I remember Silva's comments. I haven't got an issue with the owners. I think, yes, they've made mistakes, and yes, they've got things wrong, but at the same time, the ambition's there, the plan's there. It's just the execution right now that's lacking. But I think that will come the more experience they get as time goes by, as this team settles in. I don't think you can fault them for their ambitions. But yeah, I think they've rushed things. They've got key decisions wrong. The timing of decisions they've made has been poor. And, those things have got to improve. They're here for the next 10 years minimum. So they're not going anywhere. So we need to get behind them. But yeah, they do need to start making good decisions sooner rather than later. That is absolutely for sure. But I think they will, like the footballing structures in place and all that sort of thing. That should mean that it should be a far less mistake. So yeah, a Poch, annoying that it's not been announced yet. Not quite sure what the hold up is, but for me, I think personally, I don't think there's too much to worry about in that scenario. So I don't think we should be overly concerned on that one. Guys, keep smashing the likes, people. We're only on 12 likes. We can do a lot better than that. Let's get this up to 20 and see what we can do. Let's smash the likes, get it up to 20 people. We can definitely do this, guys. So yeah, we're smashing it in the chat. Let's smash the likes and keep going, guys. Let's get those likes up. If Poch rejects us, I don't think we are back to win games in the next season. No, if Poch does reject us, we obviously would win games next season. But I think we're in a situation now where we cannot afford for Poch to reject us. We have to get this right. We need Poch more than Poch needs us. So basically, within reason, we're going to have to pretty much give him what he wants. If we're being honest with ourselves. But yeah, let's move it more ahead to the game then. And yeah, form on the pitch for the Blues has been fucking terrible this season. And yeah, it's been dreadful since Lampard came back in caretaker charge as well. 6 games, 6 L's. Haven't looked like winning a single one of those games. Every week it kind of keeps getting worse and worse. And going to a Bournemouth side that are full of confidence, that's had a great win away at Spurs, thrashed Leeds, Yeah, it's not going to be easy. We don't do well away at Bournemouth at the best of times. Yes, we beat them 2-0 earlier in the season, just after Christmas. But they've improved a lot since then, and we've got significantly worse since then as well. So I just look at it and I think this is going to be really difficult. It doesn't seem to matter what formation we go, what personnel go out on the pitch. We just seem to be easy to play against, a soft touch. We're the worst team in the league right now. We really are. We are horrendous. We're so easy to play against. And I said after the Arsenal game, if there wasn't a Chelsea crest on, if there wasn't a Chelsea badge on the shirt, you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that Arsenal are playing Southampton or Forest or any one of those sides in the relegation zone, because it's that bad and there's just no improvements. Just no improvements. And I know Lampard's not a good manager, and yes, I think he's tried to change too much too quickly. But whatever system we play, we're shit. Whether it's 4, whether it's 5, whether it's 6, whatever it is, Yeah, and it is true as well. They did batter us in that second half. Yes, Reece James went off, and that made it a bit worse. But they hammered us in that second half, and they are a lot better now. So this is going to be tricky. I'm not really sure how we're going to approach this one, but whatever approach we've been doing recently really hasn't been working at all. I mean, I'd love Kante and Enzo to play in a pivot together. That does need to happen. That needs to happen. But yeah, you just look at Bournemouth, nice footballing side, play some good stuff. They've got goals in them. Home fans will be on their side. They're pretty much safe now as well. They've had a fantastic season, considering they would have been most people's favourites to go down straight away. It's easy to forget that Scott Parker was here at the start of the season. He was still in charge of that 9-0 thumping against at Anfield. Then he was removed then, and Gary O'Neill came in. Not a particularly exciting appointment by all accounts. But he's done really well to get them to where they are. And the fact that Bournemouth are level on points with Chelsea in the first week of May is an utter madness. I just don't see how that's happened. But for me, Lampard's just got to. It's at a point now where just play the guys that want to be here and play the guys that deserve to play. Simple as that. There are absolutely zero excuses now to see Sterling, to see Aubameyang, to see Ziyech, to see Kovacic, to see any of these guys that aren't performing or don't want to be here. They simply cannot play. That's the bottom line. Then there's no excuses. And Lampard's kind of got to grow a set and just, pick a team and pick those players that deserve to play, those players that are young, those players that are hungry. You've seen what Mudryk and Madueke can do from the start that Madueke had against Arsenal, from Mudryk's performance against Brighton, Mudryk's performance on the bench. There's zero excuses whatsoever for these guys to start, other than you lacking bottle to make some big calls, and they're not even big calls. So yeah, it really doesn't make too much sense. But let's get into the team. Let's get into the team then, guys. Remember, people, get involved in the chat. Keep smashing those likes. I know I sound like a broken record tonight, guys, but keep smashing those likes. It would be really appreciated by myself, and it's massively, massively helpful. So, guys, smash those likes. 7 more to go to the 20 mark. Let's get there, people. Let's get there. My formation for the Bournemouth game is as on screen. I would go with a 3-4-3. I don't think Lampard's used a 3-4-3 once since he took over. Maybe that's why I've not won any games. Who knows? No, I actually don't think it is. The reason why is we're just shit whatever formation we play. So I couldn't be too harsh on him for playing the back 4 on Tuesday night at the Emirates, even though we know we're shit in the back 4. We're shit in the 3 as well. We're not winning any matches in whatever formation we play. But I would go with the 3. Even though we let in 3 goals, we've still got the 3rd best defence in the league. But we have started to leak a few more goals recently than is optimal. I would go with the back 3. That's what I'm going to go with. This is my team, so this is what I'm going to go with, and this is what I would like to see if it was down to me. Kepa's going to play in goal. It's a straightforward one. It's not a difficult decision. Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much more to say on that. I mean, yeah, look, Mendy won't play for the club again. I'd be shocked if Mendy played for the club again, and if he started tomorrow. I think there's virtually no chance of him starting tomorrow, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I really don't think so. If Lampard wants to do 4 at the back, it should be 4-2-3-1, more balance and fits our players. Yeah, 4-2-3-1. If he wants to go the back 4, I'd be there for it. You could play Felix at a 10, have Havertz as the centre forward, Mudryk, Madueke either side. That works. What we got here, whoever is on the pitch, let them have a fire under. Yeah, I mean, something needs to happen. I don't think Mendy's been harshly treated. You know, he was dropped because his form was shit and he's not been able to get back into the side. That's just the reality of the situation. You know, he wasn't playing well enough to deserve to be in the team. He was making so many mistakes. You know, we can't just say that he's been harshly treated. I don't know if he has been harshly treated. I don't think it was unfair to drop him. I really don't. Kepa, my back 3 would be Fofana on this right centre back. He's been fantastic for us this season. Thiago Silva, a rock, world class, ever present in this defence. You could ask, is there much point really playing Silva down the stretch? But I mean, I still think there is. And then Badiashile has to play. He's literally not had a bad game. I mean, he started under Lampard against Brighton, and then we haven't really seen him because obviously he can't play in the Champions League. I don't know. I just don't understand why Badiashile is not playing. There's just no reason for him not to be playing. You know, he's done nothing wrong since he's been in the team. He's been one of our better performers, and you know, he looks like a natural. He's taken to this league pretty seamlessly so far, considering he joined from Monaco in the January window. I don't think people were expecting him to have such a positive impact, and I just don't know why he sort of disappeared from the team. This started under Potter, and now Lampard's kind of continuing it. So I just don't really understand it. I really don't. Let's move on to the wing backs then. I mean, an easy one. Ben Chilwell definitely left wing back. I mean, Lewis Hall has travelled with the squad, which is great, but I would be surprised if he were to start. Obviously, Cucurella's still injured, so I'd be surprised if he started Lewis Hall. But Lewis Hall is in the squad. Lewis Hall will be on the bench, I hope, and Lewis Hall, I also hope, will get minutes. I think it's really important that he does get minutes. We've got to give these younger players a chance, give them minutes to show what they can do. And again, Lewis Hall's another one that's barely put a foot wrong in the first team, but has just found himself out of the squad for weeks on end for reasons that I can't really work out. Right wing back, respectfully to Aspilicueta, not good enough for this level anymore. Cannot be starting week in, week out for Chelsea in 2023. This one is either Chalobah or Loftus-Cheek, and we haven't seen Ruben play for a while. I'd be more tempted to go with Ruben. I think he's actually better at right wing back than Chalobah is. He gets forward better. Yes, defensively he's not as good, but again, Kante can drop in and come behind. Fofana can step up and fill that space in if Ruben goes forward. I just think that's a better setup for us. And then in the midfield, I don't want to see Kovacic. I'm not really sure what Kovacic has been doing recently. It's not been great. Yes, he got that assist for the Madueke goal, but other than that, he's not been doing much recently. He really hasn't. I think, you know, I'm not sure if he wants to sign a new contract. I don't know if he wants to stay at the club. It is a difficult one. It is a difficult one. We have to see Kante and Enzo in a pivot. There's just no way that we cannot see Kante and Enzo in a pivot. We just have to. I hope he doesn't. To be fair, he dropped Gallagher for the Emirates. Let's hope that he doesn't bring him back in for this one. I just don't want to see a team that's picked with one attacker. That really can't happen. That would be an absolute disaster if that were to happen. Let's hope it doesn't happen, but you just never know with Lampard. You never know what he's going to do. You never know what sort of bullshit he's got up his sleeve tactically. We just really don't know. So let's wait and see what happens on that one. But for me, it's got to be Enzo and Kante. I think it gives the best balance. One can sit, one can move forward. They can alternate in those roles, and we still haven't seen it yet. And I think, despite the fact we're picking up no results, and I don't think we're going to pick up any decent result tomorrow. The fact is that this 3-4-3 system is what we look most balanced in. It's what we're most familiar with, and it's going to be the system that gives us the best chance of getting a decent result. There's no two ways about it. That is exactly what it will do. Yeah, no, absolutely no Sterling. He's been absolutely shocking. I think the front three pretty much picks itself. It's got to be, if Madueke, I mean, Lampard said after the game that there'll be more opportunities for Madueke. Those opportunities have to start now, and it begins with putting him in the starting lineup against Bournemouth tomorrow. He simply has to be in that starting lineup. No ifs or buts, no questions about it. Tactics, that kind of word does not. Yeah, it doesn't. I love Frank Lampard, absolute legend, giving me so many amazing memories as many other fans. But as a manager, not it. Doesn't just got no tactics. Just tries to vibes it. Doesn't take any tactical responsibility after games. He doesn't. He comes out. He says things that the right things per se. But I'm sick of hearing these things. The guys don't know what it's like to play for the badge. These are a good group of lads. They're just low on confidence. Like, great, okay, fine. But what have you done to try and make any difference to solving any of that? Absolutely nothing. So, it's all very well coming out and saying those things. You're the guy that's in charge for the rest of the season. What are you doing on the training pitch? Why are you getting no improvement out of these guys at all? You talk about getting a bit of a bounce when someone else takes over. There's been no bounce. It's almost been a reverse bounce. We've just gone further into the floor. We're actually worse than we ever were under Graham Potter right now. These last 6 games have been horrendous under Lampard. And I stand by it. Worse than anything we saw under Graham Potter. It really was. But yeah, Madueke has to play. Simply as Lampard says with a 4-3-3, will play Kante, Enzo, Gallagher in midfield and Madueke. I mean, I wouldn't be totally against the 4-3-3. I'd probably take out... I don't know who I'd take out. Maybe Silva, just give him a rest. I mean, what are we gaining by playing Silva in the rest of the games this season? Maybe we go Badiashile, Fofana. If we went 4-3-3, I probably would go Badiashile and Fofana, Chilwell and Chalobah at right back. So yeah, that would be what I would go with if it was a 4-3-3. But again, it's difficult. We just don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. Guys, 4 more likes to the 20 likes. Let's get this stream to 20 likes, people. It's Friday night. I'm here providing the content. We're getting involved in the chat. It's all good. Let's get 4 more likes smashed on the stream, people. Maybe we can even hit 30 likes. Who knows? But let's try and hit that 20 likes first, people. 4 more likes to go on this one. So keep smashing the like button. Do you think it'll be a day Chelsea get to 40 points tomorrow? I don't know. Me and Lewis. Well, Lewis has started the 40 points thing. We've been going on about it for ages, 40 points. We've been banging on about it since God knows when, and we still haven't hit the 40-point mark. Is tomorrow going to be that day? I'm not sure. I'm not confident. I would have to say no. But, I mean, at best tomorrow, all we're going to do is draw. Simple as that. We're not going to do any better than that. So, yeah, let's see what we can do. But am I hopeful we're going to reach 40 points? Absolutely not. How about a 4-2-2-2? Chilwell, Badiashile, Silva, Fofana, Kante, Enzo, Carney and Hall, Mudryk, Madueke. Maybe. There's certainly a lot of pace up front. Triple Maker's another one, a guy that has literally played 27 minutes since January. That's an utter madness. How has that happened? This is a guy that we signed from Aston Villa for about £20 million. And, Tuchel was like at the time, yeah, he's going to be part of the first team squad. Yeah, he's going to play regularly. The guy's barely played. Lampard's not using him at all. I've got no idea why he's not been used. He simply has to be in the squad tomorrow. Absolutely zero excuses and has to get minutes from the bench. Or if not, he should be starting, He should be. It's as simple as that. He has to be featuring one way or another. There's no excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse for it now. Lampard is why is Lampard playing Sterling? Why is he playing Aubameyang? Why is he doing these things? Play the youngsters. They're hungry. They want to be here. They've got a point to prove. Play these guys. Play the guys that deserve to play. So if I don't see Mudryk, if I don't see Madueke, if I don't see Lewis Hall and Triple Maker, these guys getting minutes on the pitch, I'm going to be absolutely fuming because it's inexcusable for that not to be happening. It's just simple as that. So Madueke one side, Mudryk on the left, Mudryk, I think, is going to be a really great player for us. Still young, he's still raw, he's still adapting, but you can tell that under the right manager, there's potential for Mudryk to be cooking. That there 100% is potential for Mudryk to start cooking under the right manager. Pochettino can definitely be that guy, no doubt about it. He can 100% be that guy. So, yeah, let Mudryk and Madueke cook and do their thing. Pacey wingers, direct, not afraid to take players on. Yes, they'll make mistakes, but actually, do you know what? I'd rather have players that are direct, take players on, aren't afraid to do something, but are going to make a couple of mistakes than the likes of Sterling, who doesn't do anything, can't even do a fucking 5-yard pass, and just stinks up the pitch for the whole time he's on, does nothing, and he comes off. I'd much rather have these guys who are raw, might make a mistake or two, but at least they're going to try and make things happen and play positively and play on the front foot. In terms of this final position here, it's a bit of it is an interesting one. I'm not really sure what I'm going to go for in terms of it. I mean, you look at João Felix; he's not really played much recently. I've watched a bit of Gilmour at Brighton. He was very good the other night against United. I think he was pretty good in one of their other games recently as well. But I think, again, it's a little bit revisionism with Gilmour. Ultimately, I just don't think he was good enough for Chelsea. Do we honestly think right now that Gilmour, I mean, obviously the season's not gone well, but generally speaking, is Gilmour really going to be the mainstay in a Chelsea team? Yes, he played pretty well for us on occasions, but ultimately, I think you look at it and you think, Gilmour's not good enough to play for Chelsea. I know that might seem a little bit harsh, but I just don't think he is. I really don't think he is. I think, a team like Brighton suits him perfectly, good player, but I just don't think he was quite at that kind of top level. He's at that level sort of just beneath. A good player, but yeah, as I say, I just don't think he was good enough to play for Chelsea. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong on that. Who knows? Felix in the front, maybe. Definitely not going to see Aubameyang. Sterling was Saint TT's. I mean, look, Koulibaly, I don't think has been horrendous. He's not been as good as I thought he was going to be, but he's shown glimpses. Sterling's done nothing. And Aubameyang, other than that purple patch where he scored in both the Milan games and against Palace, has done absolutely shit all as well. So, yeah, the summer recruitment, bar Wesley Fofana, has been an absolute joke. None of it's worked out at all. Really hasn't. I'm probably going to give the nod to Kai Havertz. And I know I've been heavily critical of Havertz, but I just think he would lead the line better than Felix would. And that's just the reality of the situation. I just look at that and I think that is going to, for me, that's going to give us, yes, Felix's link-up play is better, but then Kai's hold-up play and bringing others into play could probably work better. And I just think playing as that number 9 role, I think he could have a bit more of an effect than Felix would. Again, ultimately, I wouldn't be too fussed either way. I just think, particularly away from home, I think Havertz would probably perhaps be better suited to playing that role. But let's wait and see. But that is the team that I would go with, guys. And I think that's pretty decent. It's not terrible. We've got a Havertz has to start. I think it probably is about time for Havertz to start. Obviously, he came on at half-time against Arsenal. He did okay. He's missed a couple of games. I think he picked up a knee injury against, or a bit of a knock to his knee against Madrid. So yeah, he's not played for a few games, but that was a decent-ish half from him by his standards. And I just think tomorrow it's probably better suited for him to start in that position than it would be for João Felix to start in that position. But yeah, look, it's either option is not massively ideal at all. Chelsea's, look, mathematically no. But in reality, yes, absolutely, because the teams below us are simply not going to get enough points. You have to do it would have to be for Leeds would have to win virtually all their games. And you look at their games, they've got fucking Man City away, they've got Newcastle home, they've got Spurs as well. Leeds would be lucky to get another win this season, if we're being totally honest. So yeah, these teams just aren't, but these teams below us just aren't going to get enough points. It's not that we're going to get more points, it's just the teams below us won't get enough. So mathematically not safe, but the reality of the situation is we absolutely are safe from relegation. Really, we're not going to go down. Mathematically not safe, but I think we are safe from relegation. We aren't going to get relegated. Chelsea fanatic, big up. Should just play Datra Fofana. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happened to Datro Fofana. I'm not really sure why he's just disappeared from the squad and we're not really seeing anything from him. It is a little bit of a strange one. I'm not really sure why I've not seen him in any match day squads for quite a while now. But the situation is the situation. That's kind of where we are. Havertz almost scored in the last game versus Bournemouth at Stamford Bridge. I'll be honest, I can't remember many chances from that. I know that I was there at that game, but I don't remember much what Havertz did. Couldn't really even tell you who scored, if I'm being totally honest, but it was a win. Datro Fofana was very, very close in January to joining Nice on loan in Liga in France, but for whatever reason that fell through at the final minute. I actually think that would have been really good for him to go and join Nice on loan, get that exposure to the first team football. That would have been very beneficial for him. But yeah, I think it's clear that Datro Fofana does need a loan spell. I don't know where that would be. Probably France, maybe Germany. I'd say the French league would probably be best for him to go. Maybe the Eredivisie in Holland. But yeah, I think it's clear that his development is going to be best served by playing regular football in one of Europe's top 5 leagues and then come back at the end of next season and kind of see and assess the situation. But yeah, that is the team that I would be going with tomorrow. Aside like that, if Jonathan David leaves Lille in the summer, I think they could do a lot worse than signing Datro Fofana. Yeah, the countdown's on. 5 games to go. We've got 5 games left to attend this season. I always feel a bit bad talking about it like that because it's a privileged position to be in, to be able to go to so many Chelsea games. But yeah, this season it's been dire, and the sooner it ends and we get the summer off, we regroup, we reset, we recover, and then we go and do it all again next season. But yeah, guys, that's the team that I'd go with tomorrow, and that seems like a pretty good place to round this one out. There's only one thing left to do though, people. Score predictions. Guys, get your score predictions in the chat for me. What are you going for? Is it going to be 007 James Bond vibes for Frank Lampard? Or are Chelsea finally going to hit 40 points? Are they going to get a first win since March when we beat Leicester away 3-1? I've been pretty good with my predictions in the last couple of games. I predicted us to lose 2-0 to Brentford at home. We did. I predicted us to lose 2-1 at the Emirates. So I got that only just wrong on that one. We still lost. This one, I say we can't keep losing every week, and we do, but surely we can't lose again. Surely we can't lose a 7th game in a row. It would just be ridiculous. It really would be. I'm gonna go with. I'm actually going to go with a loss. I think we'll lose. I think we're going to lose 2-1. I think we will score. I can't remember the last time we scored 2 goals in a game. When was the last time we scored twice in a game? Oh, maybe Everton at home, or was that after Leicester? Who knows when it was? But yeah. We're not going to go. Problem is, though, we're not going to go by this lineup. So we know Lampard's not going to pick that. So I can't see it. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bournemouth win. Maybe some reverse psychology work. If I predict us to lose, maybe we'll pull our fingers out our arse and we might win. Who knows? But yeah, guys, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bournemouth win and 7 L's in a row for Chelsea and Frank Lampard. But yeah, let's hope I'm wrong. I'd even just take a draw at this point. Just don't lose. Just don't lose. Yeah, a lot of 1-1s coming in the chat as well. If something similar to your team selection, 2-1 Chelsea. If Lamps does something silly, 2-0. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. It will be a draw. I think probably the most likely result is probably a Chelsea loss, but I think a draw is almost as likely as well. And what's mad is that Bournemouth are going into a game against Chelsea as clear favourites, which is, can't remember when that would have last happened. But yeah, guys, I'm going to round this one out. Thank you so much for tuning in the chat. It's been a massive help. Appreciate each and every single one of you in there. Guys, again, keep smashing the likes on the stream on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And make sure you check out the opposition preview as well to get the Bournemouth perspective on tomorrow's game, which is also up on the channel. Yeah, it's pretty tough right now, mate. Pretty tough right now. That's where we're at. We're not. How can we be confident about any of these games? That's just the sad reality of the situation. Yeah, it is what it is. This is what it's come to. This is what it's come to. Dead in the water. Big up, my guy. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, it'll be more positive in tomorrow's post-match stream, but I can't make any promises. But yeah, guys, as I said, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Really, each and every one of you for doing so. Smash the likes on the stream on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you check out the opposition preview for the Bournemouth perspective on tomorrow's game up on the channel now. Let's hope Chelsea can please reach 40 points tomorrow. Just don't lose. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not even asking for a win. Just don't lose. Guys, I'll be at the game tomorrow, so I'll be back on the channel tomorrow night with a post-match stream, in-depth match reaction with player ratings. Stay tuned after the game for a match day vlog or instant match reaction. Yet not sure which one. It'll be one of those two. So stay tuned for that post-match content, guys. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have a good day tomorrow. Let's hope Chelsea can put a smile on our face for a change. And I'll be back tomorrow night. So guys, take care and up the Chelsea.